You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Welcome, rebels! We are back. We are being crazy wild animals. Thank you for shopping. Oh man, lots to talk about. Can you say? Game 7's lots to get into. Yeah, we made it. We're going. We're moving. Another debacle known as the Detroit Sports Radio Rebels. So, let's get into this thing, man. Like I said, plenty to get into. Choke jobs, NFL Week 1, and playoffs everywhere. Sports at all these weird times. I don't know what's going on here, but we're doing it. So, without further ado, let's do the do that we do at DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here is your host, Johnny the Moose.
Hey, we are back here for another edition of DSR2. Yes, we got a fully packed show here this evening here on a glorious Wednesday. The sun was actually orange because of all the haze that's in the air from the fires out west here. Again, week 1 of the NFL is in the books, so we're going to get into that on there in a review on there. And again, should our coach be fired immediately? Should we wait till we're 0-4? Also, the Big Ten football is back. Maybe. We'll see. We still got a month to go.
Anything can happen.
And again, Michigan is in the Big Ten. It's not Mississippi, unlike what you've heard on certain press conferences. Out there. Also, we got the NBA playoffs going on there. It has been spectacular on there. We got basically an upset there with Denver taking out the Clippers, or is it really because it is the Clippers and it's Doc Rivers coaching? Also, we got Boston and Miami. That's going to be a great one there as well. On there, on it is on. Plus, we got MLB baseball wrapping up here. We got 10 days or so left on that till we get to the playoffs there. Also, we got the NHL hockey there. Looks like it's probably going to be Dallas versus Tampa Bay for the Stanley Cup Finals on there. So we got a fully packed show here. Of course, we're always going to have Moose's Fantasy Moment and, of course, Pick'ems. We got to do better because we did terrible last week. But then again, look at what happened at the NFL. So.
Well, and we told you, just do the oppo, go opposite everything, so it's one of those things where maybe I should just make my picks like I tell you to pick against our picks, and then my picks would be good. Did that make a lot of that? I
think we were around 500, so it wasn't really on it. We were 500.
It was
you had to pay the juice.
It's a flipping debacle, is what it is. It's one of those.
There was upsets on there that nobody would have predicted.
Well, and okay, but it's just going to be one of those years where things are just topsy-turvy.
It's the COVID world, and don't go to the sports book on there.
Oh, that was one of
the only one we knew on there that was money on there for a favorite was Kansas City. Bet Kansas City on it, and we were right.
Yeah, well, we'll take that. But, I mean, it's one of those things where, fantasy, even a lot of cats are just, not even, they're just bowing out of fantasy this year. We'll pick it up next year. So there's... If you're gambling and you are a degenerate gamble like a lot of cats, then you're gambling on anything anyway. But I think if you're the casual sports gambler, you're a little tentative right now because it's just crazy times. I don't care what you're betting, whether it's the NFL or the NBA. I mean, now when we said don't sleep on the Nuggets, this is not what we had in mind. Coming back from 3-1 deficits in 2 series, not just one, and then being multi-digit, and coming back from multi-digit deficits. So, in a good portion of those games. So, it's been the COVID sports world is definitely different. I mean, the NBA, I think, is probably the most obvious, but I think you're going to see it. Well, I guess with the exception of baseball, right? Baseball had to move shit all around, and people doing this and getting on lockdown.
Now they're going to do the bubble playoff,
now they're
maybe.
Well, you know what that shows me. And as we do our whip around our intro, guys, anything you want, we're going to get into all kinds of stuff.
Maybe the NBA and the NHL had it right from the beginning.
But that's my whole no, dude. If they ever gave a shit about the players, they would have done the bubble now. They're admitting right now, right here, right now, that they know that the bubble is a safer option, and the only time that it's worth it to them is when the big money TV contracts kick in for the playoffs. So, like, they're like, if you miss some games during the season because you're sick, who gives a fuck? But goddamn, you're not going to miss any of our big paydays, on the play. So that to me just tells you how fucking convoluted all this shit is. And then if you want to tie in the whole college football and the Big Ten thing, you can go right back to my whole take a couple of weeks ago, or even last week. It's
all about money.
Now, to me, I'm just morbidly curious how horrible this is going to get. Just go ahead and fucking run it. Just let them do their thing.
Run with scissors. I don't care.
At this point, I don't give it. You know what? It's like I've had 7 kids. This is kid number 7. They're running around with a fork, trying to stick it in every hole they find. And I'm like, you know what? What could possibly go wrong? Like,
I got it right on the first 6. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever happens, It
happens.
It's not a big deal. I got 6 others just like him running around. I mean, what are we doing here? And so, to me, the whole COVID sports world is topsy turvy. So, and it's all crazy and it's all upside down. But it's all this stuff is contingent on their about making money, right?
Right.
To me, when it comes to like the college thing and whether the Big Ten should be going at it, or any other school for that matter, is when are we going to be allowed to come back to stadiums?
2021 at the earliest.
So why are we putting kids at risk, but we were not willing to put ourselves at risk?
Why is the Big Ten basically reversed what they said around there?
Well, politics
and money.
Yeah,
basically, they were worried about fulfilling their TV contracts.
See, to me, it's a lot less of that and a lot more about political pressure.
Bullshit.
Because it's about political pressure. Because until the president started leaning on them cats, they weren't moving. And those TV contracts, those deals, that money was always an issue.
Right.
So the only thing that changed
is they caved in.
There was political pressure. Every single person, every single state, every single school, they're all from a red district. All of them.
Right.
That wanted this to go. So they've made this political. You don't have to like that or not. Like I said, we don't want to do politics here, and I don't care what side of the fence you're on. But they made this, getting college football back, political. They made your health concerns with all this COVID shit political.
Right.
It's all been politicized. So this is no different. And so they caved to political pressure. And it's like, whatever. You know what? My kid would never be playing out there.
No.
Not in that. You've done nothing to prove that you could do anything. What does rapid testing prove anyway? If there's fucking 15%,
doesn't matter whether it's rapid testing and it's testing every day on there. What does it prove on there? But you notice on there, like Michigan, they lost their 2 best players. They said, no, we're foregoing. Well, actually, now they've lost 3 players. They said, we're foregoing it on there. 2 of them said, we'll just work on the NFL. Because, again, both of them know they're going to be a first and second round draft pick.
Right.
Mayfield's going to be a first-round draft pick at tackle, and Nico Collins will be a second-round draft pick at wide receiver at worst.
But that's kind of my whole point. Is they don't.
You got nothing to gain on there. Again, you look at what college football is this week. This week was supposed to be BYU Army at West Point. Canceled. COVID. Right. Next week, or this week also, too, is supposed to be Vodtech in Virginia. Postponed. Why? COVID.
Right.
Don't give me this credit. They're not getting through the whole year.
No, they're not. No, they're not getting to anything anyway. That's what I'm saying. This is all, and now Big Ten should be embarrassed by how they're handling this shit. It's like,
who's going to look great at the end when it's all said and done? The Pac-12.
Right.
Because they stuck to their guns and said, "Screw it, we're not playing."
Yeah.
Lean on us all you want, because good, they're all on there. We don't care.
Right. It's a total mess. So yeah, your college sports have been hijacked by politics,
What else?
I don't
Everything
wanna
is,
tell you.
again, science has been hijacked by politics.
It's insane right now. And that's the other part of this issue too, is that now you've got all these sports playing at once. You got politics all playing out at the same time. So you have this whole melting pot of, like, no matter how hard you try to get away from shit, you can't get away from shit. So we're going to try to get you away from shit. And I apologize for bringing any kind of politics into the mix, because that's not what this is about. But it has been. This stuff's been politicized. Shout out to Canada Mike again, hanging in here. Happy that his Dodgers made the playoffs and the Chiefs win. But the Chiefs winning will be a thing for a minute now. It looks
For a
like
while?
for a minute. They're doing pretty good with their drafting as well. So
Longest Patrick Mahomes stays healthy, they're not losing.
yeah, I mean it's
That
the new
offense is
dynasty.
ungodly.
Yeah,
it's just
it's the new dynasty.
And if you were playing, and if you did play fantasy football, and you happen to draft Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you the man.
Yeah, right.
I loved him, but again, Dalvin Cook fell to me at 8, and I'm like, because Edwards-Helaire was taken at 6, so damn it. Otherwise, I drafted him.
Right. Yeah, well, we'll get into the whole fantasy aspect of that.
Remember, it's
And
in the Hilaire tonight, baby.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so where are we running with this whirlwind of sports? There is so much stuff to get into. We getting into NBA. We talk. We got a lot of NFL. Maybe we should do a little NFL.
All right,
first.
we'll do a little NFL to start here tonight, because we've got a fully packed show. I don't even know if we're going to get into baseball here. Wrapping
Right,
up on
because you
it.
got all these NBA upsets and the NHL action, and it's like, man.
Yeah.
A lot going on. So week 1 of NFL, as we alluded here in the whip around intro, it is we don't know what the fuck we're doing here in these pick'ems. So when we do that,
Well,
later,
we did grab the Chiefs on there, and we said basically take the Chiefs, give the points. Over under was 54.5, and it came out to 54.
Yeah.
That 2-point that screwed up on there. That was it.
Yeah.
Vegas knows.
Oh yeah,
Vegas is smart.
And we got into a big thing about it last week because that number was fishy. But
they know. They're wise.
Yeah. So
all I know is
it makes you wonder how rigged the sports could be, man.
Watson basically is like going, "What the hell did I sign for?"
Oh yeah.
They have no passing game whatsoever. They have no receivers.
Well, duh.
We knew that. I mean, again, especially when they traded Hopkins. Hopkins goes to Arizona. $150.
Right.
Bam.
Yeah, right off rip. Yep.
It's just, dude, we told you.
Well,
Bill O'Brien, the coach, needs a throat punch. Bill O'Brien, the general manager.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and we talked about it too when we talked about these teams. Any of the teams that have been together are going to do better because of the way the whole training camp and everything's been. So if you've been together, you got more of established offense and players and personnel and all that, it'll be easier to get into the flow of things. But that shows you how good Hopkins is to come in here fresh off the street, basically, and to put a $160 up on or whatever
Frisco.
it was.
And then again,
and Frisco,
Kyle Murray, dude. He ran. He had over 100 yards rushing, and he basically ran for this. Basically, lost the honor because eat the clock.
right?
I mean, dude.
Yeah, but that's the thing, if you're not, he's not going to be able to do that all the time.
No,
you're not going to have that kind. If you think you're going to get anything done and have any consistency with him doing it, it's the same thing with Cam Newton. It's cute what Cam did over there in New England, but if Belichick plans on using Cam Newton like that all year,
He ain't gonna have Cam.
he ain't going to have Cam Newton by fucking week 6.
Over under before Tua starts.
He's not starting this week. I mean, shit.
I say.
I mean, you went from Fitz magic to Fitz tragic, and he in 0.5 seconds. This is like what he does.
Right.
So I don't understand.
Mid-October?
I don't understand what the point of trotting him out there is
No.
at all.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, you're just stunting the growth of the guy you drafted. The only reason I'm not playing Tua right off rip, really, I guess,
Because you didn't have a
I just
real
don't
training camp.
and I don't and I don't know how healthy he is and all that. So, but if he's 100% healthy, and he's got a grip on a third of the offense, I'm running him.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't expect him to know all the offense, but if he's got like a third of it, and he's healthy, what the fuck am I doing with Fitzmagic?
Yeah.
Because
3 INTs.
I mean, that's what he does. He throws 5 touchdowns or 5 picks.
Right.
I mean, it's fucking retarded. I don't know what else to say.
I'm with you on that one. I agree with it. And again, the Falcons on there, basically getting with the Seahawks on there. Falcons have no defense on there. And again, Russell Wilson, 31 for 35.
I told you, dude. You don't quit sleeping.
He is the
y'all
best.
disrespect that motherfucker. I told you about Seattle. And
He's
y'all
going
disrespect
to
him.
go down as the best quarterback to never win an MVP.
Or does he win an MVP?
He should win.
Okay.
You see what he does and what he means to that team wise
Right.
is he's an MVP. The only problem is last year he ran against Lamar Jackson, who definitely was the Ravens, and the year before was Mahomes.
Right.
And then who knows about this year? He could win it because their defense is not great,
And
and he has no protection for relying on there.
And I don't know
what he does.
I know this is the classic overreaction Wednesday for us here, being right after.
But he does it year in, year out.
But week 1, right after week 1, I mean he's doing what he's gonna do, and if Carroll pulls the reins off of him and lets him be Russ, which it seems like he's letting that kind of more happen. Before
Right.
it was always pound the rock.
Now he's letting Russ be
Now
Russ.
he's letting Russ be a little bit Russ because so last year we used to talk about a lot where like Pete Carroll has this running ball mentality, and he's going to play defense, and he's going to run the ball until that doesn't work anymore, and then he asks Russell to bail him out,
Right.
and then he does some magic and bails him out. And last year, I was saying, I was like, dude, why does he wait to do? Why are we doing this?
Why you just let him be Russ right off the bat?
Right? Why don't we just jump out and do this? So now, like I said, this might be the classic overreaction Wednesday here for us, being right after the games for us, but. Why are we not just doing this right off Jump Street? Why are we not doing what works first instead of waiting until we have no other choice but to try this because everything else has failed? So if they continue this trend of letting Russ be Russ, then this could be his MVP year.
Right.
It's going to be interesting because to me, it's between him and probably Aaron Rodgers, to be honest, because I think those two guys really have a chip on their shoulder and try to get out there and get
Rodgers
some shit
definitely
done.
does. Maybe we were a little too premature.
I wasn't. Why do you think I picked Green Bay? Because of Aaron. I know what he is.
Minnesota
and how he
has
plays.
no defense whatsoever on there. And again, that 34 points was fool's gold.
Oh, sure.
Because they were down pretty much by like 35 points in the fourth quarter, and they're like, whatever. Yeah. So he goes 364 and 4 touchdowns. I mean, Jesus.
I'm telling you. Justin, Mike, James, thanks for hanging out with us. Cody, everybody. If you want to get in on the conversation, you can do it on our social media, Studio 57 Radio across the board, Facebook, YouTube. We're also on TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, all that fun stuff. Or you can hit us up in our text line, 313-307-5340. You can throw a handle on there or be anonymous. It does not matter. Anything you want to talk about in the world of sports, we're all over it. Feel free to get involved in the conversation. We would love to. James is talking about Murray and Arizona, and we're going to get there. We mentioned it in the whip around, but yeah, I mean, you're going to have some good quarterback play. You got homeboy got welcome to the league. Hello, welcome to Cincinnati, motherfucker. No matter how good you are, your team's gonna shit on you. Just so you know. So we can talk about Burrows too.
Because his midget kicker basically his leg exploded.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, they had opportunities and blew it. He threw. They're pushing off to get touchdowns. He threw a perfect pass. You're pushing off to get touchdowns. Penalty called back touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did everything. He trucked them down the field in 45 seconds to have, that debacle happen. Well, and you know what that was? That was, oh, shit, I missed it. That's like backyard shit. Like, oh, yeah, I hurt my leg. That's why I missed it. Yeah, that's what happened. Fucking shanker. Why the fuck they trust that guy to kick anything but rocks is beyond me. Tell that dude to kick rocks.
And then we got Jacksonville and the Colts on there. Yeah, Rivers passed for 363, but it was on 170 passes. I mean, he literally passed for 50 times or something like that. Yeah, 2 interceptions. Because why? He can't throw the ball downfield.
Well, they said the same thing about Brady, and he gets it downfield when they do it right. That's the problem is that you put Phillip Rivers in a situation where he's got to throw 50 times a game, and his arm is not made to throw 50 times a game. So then when you do need to go downfield, it's not going to fucking happen. But if he throws the ball 25 times a game, and then he only throws it downfield a couple times a game at the right time, in a play action scenario, whatever you could then it's more effective. Dude, use him for what he is. He is a savvy, wily veteran. Use him for what he is.
Well, now they're getting in trouble.
He's not the gunslinger that he was when he was a kid.
Yeah, and they're going to be in trouble, too, because they lost Marlon Mack, blew out his Achilles, so he's done for the year. Again, well, maybe now you're going to have to just use Jonathan Taylor like he was used in Wisconsin.
Right.
On it. Plus, what the hell happened to your defense? You let freaking Jacksonville score 27 points on you. Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Jacksonville. That was bad. You know what was the worst? Again, we'll talk about the Lions here collapsing, but you know what the worst collapse was? Eagles in Washington. Eagles are up 17-0. Washington's doing nothing, and next thing you know, Washington scores 27 unanswered points, and the defense was ungodly. 8 sacks on Wentz.
Right.
Dude, throw the ball away. Don't hang on to the ball so much.
Well,
that defense is really good, though. I mean, again,
and
Riverboat Ron is a pretty damn good coach.
I was about to say if there's once again we're at the week 1 overreaction Wednesday here, but there's your coach of the year after week 1 if you got one, because if there is any guy that's any less inspiring or any more inspiring than him in the league, I don't know. The guy's getting fucking IVs at halftime because of his fucking cancer treatments,
and he still comes out there,
and they're out there, and he's making adjustments, he's changing the. I mean, he's had quite an impact on that team
right off the bat,
right off rip, and. I mean, I get it. When you're coming from the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. But it's impressive.
Imagine what they could do if they didn't have a total scumbag owner.
Right. Oh, I'm telling you.
Bezos, buy the Redskins. Just right.
Anybody. I don't even care.
You got the money. You're worth $200 billion just to have Dan Snyder check and say, just go ahead and fill it in the amount.
All right. Well, I don't, he wants to be part of the club, so that ain't going to happen. He don't want to sell, so unless he's forced to sell, it ain't going nowhere.
They need to force him to sell.
Well, I agree, but you didn't. James Dolan in the NBA, they haven't forced that guy to sell.
They need to force him to sell.
So
too.
I mean, a short of saying a bunch of horribly racist things on tape, they're not booting anybody out. And the only reason they did that was to save face. Because if you think the Good Old Boys Club doesn't thinks any different than fucking,
I just can't say it.
You know what I'm saying? Come on now, let's be real.
Well, yeah, Jerry Richardson was the sexist thing on there, and he got caught on tape.
There's no fucking way that they didn't know how he thought all this time. There's no fucking way. They're all a part of it. So stop it.
And again, also the team that basically came out the least and basically prepared on there to start the game, the Jets, and versus the Bills. I mean, Adam Gase will be fired by week 5.
Yeah, I mean,
he's terrible.
I mean,
plus you look at he's crazy because he's got crazy eyes.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother topic of conversation. But yeah, no, I don't know how many. You can't, Moose. We're doing this again. You can't. They're not going to fire all these coaches. Some of these cats are going to live
to the end of the season.
Yeah, they're going to live to be just totally brutalized. It's going to be death by 1,000 paper cuts for some of these guys. I mean,
all of them.
Yeah,
you have to be unmitigatedly terrible to be fired during the season.
Yeah, so you do. That's kind of my point. And I mean, and we lived through it here, right?
Because we had it happen here.
Yeah, where you don't win.
We've had it happen here with general managers fired during the season, coaches fired during the season.
It's just
coaches and general managers fired.
Well, we've seen it where they should have been fired and they weren't.
That happened here last year. They should have been fired, but they weren't.
So it's just, It's a mess. It's a mess when it comes to that stuff. So I wouldn't count on any of that. So I'm just kind of curious how this is going to play out. Once again, it's going to be the same kind of situation with all these other sports. Are they going to be able to get through this COVID situation? How they're going to navigate the waters? Because they're still not in a bubble situation. Now, there could be some bubble situations come playoff time. They might want to start considering that. But I don't know what the NFL thinks they're going to do, because as far as the product goes and what we're watching on the field, it's not that big a deal. Like, we're getting good qualities, football, considering they had no camp and what's going on. And from a TV viewership, you don't see the crowd that much, so it's not that big of a difference, other than. So I just kind of curious how they're going to navigate this thing as things get a little heated up. This is the first time that they've had to. Now what happens when everybody starts moving around and we start getting into the thick of thing, as we've seen with everywhere else but that isn't in the bubble, you start to have these problems pop up. So I'm kind of curious how the NFL is going to deal with that. But right now, I'm happy we get games. I'm happy to see what was going on, and yeah. Week one tales. It's hard to take
Week one. The telling tale is it shows you with the lack of basically OTAs and even one or two.
Well, you can tell where real coaching's happening, right?
But you see, there's the soft tissue injuries on there. On there, the pulled hamstrings out there with that. So now you're going to see a lot of that. We've seen it here in Detroit with the. Three cornerbacks on it. And again, Le'Veon Bell pulling his hammy. And so you're seeing an Achilles injury in it with it. The Cowboys have took major hits injury-wise with losing Van Der Esch, at linebacker, with a broken collarbone.
All right.
Jarwin blowing out his ACL on a non-contact. And they lost an offensive. They're one their backup offensive right tackle. And that's right off the bat.
And that's part of it, Moose. What from as the season goes on, does this really take a huge toll? Or these just certain incidents? As we talk about it, it feels like there's more and more injuries every year, even though they have less and less OTA. So we'll see if that situation holds true. But the first thing that I noticed is who's good coaching, right? Because Pittsburgh is a perfect example. A team that was just a mess. Big Ben wasn't that great. He's not. But that team is playing. Okay, it's the Giants, but damn.
They look like dogs.
I'm saying, you got Big Ben looking, back in the day. They were able to rally off some wins at the end of last season. You have this whole, coaching fucking bolt, and they came out looking good.
That defense looks really good too. Jeez, Devin just looked like he put on 20 pounds of muscle, and he's just as fast still.
So I think you're seeing. Not only are you seeing the teams that have been together that are good, but now you're starting to see some of these coaching standouts too. So I know we're in the classic week one overreaction mode, but I'm kind of curious to see how many of these things hold true moving forward. Is it more likely that Tom Brady continues to struggle, or is it more likely that Cam Newton continues to play well? And New England, what's more likely to hold true? We're going to find out.
I don't know, because again,
that's tough to say. But there's a lot of those kind of situations throughout the league. What is going to hold true as this thing gets rolling? I still think we fall for this every goddamn year, Moose, where we think we know what's going on, and it takes us 6 weeks to get it figured out.
Right.
And what's this year going to be like? Because, I feel like
I think the teams that are really good that have kept the same staff, whether coaching and personnel wise, are basically going to be still the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
We definitely see that. And with the AFC, sure. I think it's Kansas City and Baltimore,
right,
and everybody else.
Yep.
I think NFC could be wide open.
NFC could be wide open because it's it's got that, you got that chunk where everybody's bottlenecked in the middle there. So
teams you think we're going to be good aren't on there. And again, who'd have ever thought that Washington would be at top of the NFC East?
Well, and that's what I'm saying.
It's only week one, but still, you got a division rival win.
Yeah.
It's a big win on there, so we'll see what happens there. And again, as we said, as with Frisco, we expected Frisco to take a little step back because they really don't have any receivers.
Right. Yeah, but
and you lost some running back. You lost some running back wise, and I think offensive line. Trent Williams taking over for Joe Staley's going to be now fine at.
The biggest surprise for me with San Francisco is their defense. I expect them to play better, and so that
I'm still not sold on their secondary. I think the front seven is really, really, really good.
Yeah, which
on there, and that's what we said on it. We'll see what happens on there, but the Rams look pretty good wise on there. Moving the ball against Dallas. Net defense was really good again on there, so we'll see. Maybe the Rams will bounce back a little bit this year, but who knows? We kind of it looks like it's going to be Seattle on there, but again, Seattle's defense is not what it once was on there. So I think the NFC is going to be a lot tougher than the AFC. AFC is going to be, again, as we said, the top two and everybody else out there. So
right.
And their lines will suck on there. We're going to go 0-4, maybe 0-6, and. 0-4 before the break for our first the bye week, and then we'll see. But they're terrible.
They are.
You get the 180-year-old Adrian Peterson, who looked like Adrian Peterson.
I know.
At least, thank God, it was at least week one. It wasn't like the Emmitt Smith in Arizona debacle. But they have no pass rush. Only in Detroit can a guy get thrown out because he headbutted the ref because he's trying to demonstrate what the running back was doing to him. And, of course, the ref leaned into him on there.
Yeah.
It did a total flop.
Oh, my goodness.
Flop. It was a flop.
It was a flop.
And Cleveland's terrible.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
I'd go along with that.
There's no reason that team should be so terrible.
It's one of those things where we talked about it with the bubble situation in the NBA, right? You either thrive in the bubble or you get crushed by it, and it's all about a chemistry thing, right? And it's the same thing here with Cleveland. Like there is not the chemistry there is jacked.
You know what? They had better chemistry. Again, it could be on there.
I don't know if it's the coach to quarterback. I don't know if it's Odell and all that situation.
Because when that year when they were making that run, when Greg Robinson took over and Kitchen was just the offensive coordinator, they were looking really good.
Right.
And then they added Odell, and we go, maybe we jump down there, and it's just been just a shit. So maybe it's Odell. Maybe it's like, you know what, addition by subtraction.
Well, to me, it's one of those things, man. That stuff does happen. You can't win with them. It's one of those things. So I don't know if that's the case, but it feels like it. It feels like, what the is going on here.
He was a head case in New York.
Yeah.
Where you look at Arizona, gets Hopkins. Hopkins doesn't say boo to anybody.
You know what? My whole thing is what has he really done? No.
Odell. He's made a couple great catches, but I don't see the love fest for it.
Yeah.
He's not the best receiver in the NFL. He's not even the best receiver really on his team.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it's Landry on there.
Why would you even put yourself through
this?
He's
a freaking head case.
I don't know why you'd put your team, your franchise through having a guy like that.
Again, Pittsburgh said.
You know what I'm saying?
Antonio Brown out the door. Bye.
Yeah, but Antonio Brown was way crazy. Odell Beckham isn't.
But again, Antonio Brown for a short period of time was also the best receiver in the game.
Right.
And then he went nuts.
Right.
Really nuts.
Well,
he's still nuts.
Yeah. Sure seems that way. Sure.
He's nuts.
I'm not. Hey, I can't make those clinical decisions there.
Yes, we can. We see now all the tapes of that.
Yeah.
And then the baby mama still went back to him.
Well, she's nuts. So I'll say that she's nuts.
It's just not making.
If someone treats you like that and you go back, that shit's insanity.
It's not making the situation any better.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's so. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Odell is the issue. Like I said, I just feel like they tried some square peg round hole kind of scenarios there, and the chemistry's jacked up. And just like other teams will do well with the good chemistry, the bad will tear you apart. I just feel like Cleveland never got off the ground because of that. No. We were all talking about it. On paper, they were great. 2 years ago, we were like, Yeah, look at them go on paper.
Right.
And then they don't play on paper; they play on a field, and they share a locker room, and then and they don't fucking like each other, or whatever the case may be. They can't get on the same page. So I feel that if I had to use one word, if we had to run down all these teams, the one word that is jacking them up would be chemistry. It's just
Right.
I feel like it's just not there. Lions, one word, ownership. It'll just never change.
They will never change because they're never going to sell.
When you get to Washington, one word that comes there, it's hope, man. You look at there and there's hope if you're a Washington Reds, a Washington football team fan. You hope they pick a fucking name that's an actual name. But you also hope that, there's a sign of change there. In Cincinnati, it's the same kind of thing. It's like you have the same ownership kind of like debacle, like Burrow's. Welcome to the league, dude. Welcome to Cincinnati. Your life's gonna suck. No matter how hard you try.
Trevor Lawrence, guess what? Take a look. That's what it's gonna be like if Jacksonville takes you.
Oh, right. So so you have a lot of that going on too. So
maybe the Lions could lose all the games, or we could get.
Oh, yeah. Why? What's the fucking point? Like, we could get, Jesus could come down here and
still screw it all.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. I mean, the Lions would still fucking lose it. Although I heard Jesus got, shitty hands, but that's a whole other thing.
No, Jesus got good hands.
He's got good
man.
hands, okay.
He's got a great first step. Plus, man, again, if it's a rainy season.
Well, I know he's got a great first step.
If it's a raining game on there, it don't matter, man. He just run across that field like nothing.
I know he's got great footwork. I'm not even going there. We already know that. They just walk on top of that shit. What are you talking
right.
about? So I already know that. I figure you just hand it off to JC and just he just parts everything.
Dude, be fun at the Gator game. Just turn some of that Gatorade into wine.
JC goes for 5,000 yards a game on the ground.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Anyway, but yeah, it wouldn't help it wouldn't help Cincinnati. It wouldn't help fucking Cleveland. It sure as hell wouldn't help Detroit. So you have those usual suspects, I think, this year. But we'll be talking about 6 new teams that get into the playoffs like we are every damn year. And I'm not sure who those teams are, but hopefully we'll get a better picture as the weeks move forward here. Like I said, it takes us a good 4 to 6 weeks to get a grip on the league normally. Right. So it's just weird, man. It's wild. It's a wild and crazy times. But I'm still with James, though. I expect Kyler Murray to have some fun in Arizona. I just don't expect him to win a lot, but I expect him to be entertaining. So, okay. NBA action, maybe?
NBA action. We got a monster Game 7 last night.
God. Game 7s are great until they go down like that, and you're a fan of the Clips. Holy shit. Clippers fans. We have posted the suicide prevention hotline up for all of you because, oh my gosh. Sometimes something about that team makes me think Paul George is the problem.
Paul George did not show up in this series.
It seems like he was on some pretty good Indiana teams that underachieved too.
Yes.
So I feel like...
But again, even before him coming there, the Clippers are the Clippers. And again, I'm not a huge Doc Rivers fan on there.
Well, that's another part, too. Is Doc getting bounced every year in the second round or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that is getting old. Now, I thought he was the right coach during the ownership transition, and I think he is a good coach. But I think if you want to make that leap to the next level, you've got to change. We dealt with it here in Detroit, right, where we had Carlisle, and then we jumped up to Larry Brown to get that championship. It was just that one little bit, and I feel like that's what we got going on here. Is that Doc just he can get you to the playoffs,
but he can't get you beyond that. Now again, who would?
And being the number 2 seed, you kind of expect them to be, in the finals, the conference finals. And there was an argument that they were the best team in the league at one point. So it's just, to me, they underachieved. You have to look at it from that.
Oh,
respect.
it's a bust.
Right.
This team was built to win it this year, and it imploded
they shit
on
the
it.
fucking bed.
They
yeah.
did shit the bed. But then again, Denver's on there was basically the third best team in the West, unless they were the second best on it.
Well, before the COVID shit, we told you not to sleep on the Nuggets, and when we came back to the bubble, we said this thing might play well for a team like the Nuggets, where they don't have this superstar ego issue in a bubble situation. But this is not what we had in mind.
No, we did not have them taking out
man, you're taking out one of the best teams in the league and doing it in such crazy fashion.
The Clippers were up by double digits, and they basically fell apart.
Well, they've been up by double digits in 2 or 3 games in that
series. They were up 3-1 and up double digits in each of the games on it, and they lost all 3.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
Plus, I mean, the way Jokic had played in this series under Jamal Murray, man, talk about, dude, ice water in the veins in Game 7.
Yeah,
guy's fearless.
Well, and that's who's going, and it's those two versus LeBron and AD basically in the next round. So the thing is that Denver's got going for them is that depth.
Right.
And so, it's going to make for an interesting series. I still see the Lakers coming out of here. I think this is actually an easier route for them because the Clips seem to kind of be a bugaboo a bit for them. But, and then this has got to wear out eventually. I just don't see them continuing to be able to keep this trend up.
Worst case scenario for the NBA.
I mean, Portland couldn't do it.
Denver, Miami in the finals.
That is for the league. Oh my God, that's the worst thing that could happen to the league.
Yes. Because they want Boston Lakers.
Well, Boston Lakers
because it's the history of the both franchises.
Yeah, you could do that.
The mortal enemies on there, the immortal enemies, they basically on it. But yeah, look on there. But yeah, look at what Denver. I mean, what the Heat said against the Celtics. Celtics were up by big on there, and they basically fell behind it. But again,
see. I think
Miami's a damn good team.
I was just say my whole take is the league is going to think like I am. What stories draw? It's not about like the necessarily the gameplay on the court. It's about the stories, right? I root for stories. We talk about stuff. So a great story, yeah, sure. L.A. Boston's a good story, but don't sleep on Miami.
No,
I mean Miami and L.A. LeBron versus old team in the other conference kind of scenario. Like there's plenty of storylines to be had there too. So like you said, I think worst case scenario is that Denver wins this and Miami wins this, and you got 2 who gives a fuck teams. But as far as from a market standpoint, their home markets will probably watch, but not much outside of that, and you're competing with every other sport that you would normally compete with. So
I think this Miami, again, the best series is going to be the Miami-Boston series.
Oh, dude, it's already proven it. It's already proven it. That game 1 was off the hook.
It's going 7.
I blew a wad on that game 1 so much that I couldn't stay awake for the game 7, which is what I was pumped about, and fucking it didn't matter, obviously. But it's like, I think that series will be that'll probably be the series of the entire playoffs right there. So.
Because I love Jimmy Butler because again he's a really good 2-way player and he's a red ass.
Well,
I love the guy that basically will do everything he in his possible will to win.
Well, I like just the makeup of the team, right? It's just
they're gritty.
Yeah, it's just gritty, grimy. They're very 04 Pistons-ish to me.
That'd probably be the best comparison on there is they are very 04 on there. They're going to work Pistons on there.
Well, you don't have anybody, he's, one of the best, Jimmy Butler's a great player, the best player on a good team that could win a championship, but is he the greatest player in the league and MVP talks? No, not at all, really, but he's got that mentality and the way the team's playing and all, I like it. But see, I feel the same way about Boston.
Yes.
I think Boston's built the same way. And that's what makes that series so great, is you got 2
They're
teams
mirror images of each other.
And they got 2 teams doing that. Like diving on the floor, throwing up crazy shots, and doing everything grimy, the block heard around the world, all that kind of shit. Like you're getting everything you got from an 04 Pistons run in both of these teams, really, to me. And and you're getting them against each other. It reminds me of old school basketball.
Yes.
I mean, granted, minus the hand check, and there's more 3-point shooting, but it is more grimy and gritty, and reminds me more and lower scoring, and reminds me more of the older school
game. This was 117, 114 in overtime, and it was. I mean, again, this was a fun game to watch.
It was. For me, it was
on there because I like both teams. I really like both teams on there. I like Butler and I like Dragic. I mean, again, you get Michigan with Duncan Robinson who can shoot the threes, and then you got Boston with you got Kemba Walker and Tatum and Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
You just liked it. Tatum was obviously he's the best player out of that draft.
Oh gosh,
and he fell to 3.
He's amazing.
The fat little leprechaun Danny Ainge
he just knows.
And he's got 3 number 1s this year.
Yeah, gosh. And Boston's only going to get better. I mean, the way they're going.
Adding Kemba Walker was the right thing on there because for this team-wise.
Yep.
As we said, addition by subtraction on there.
Yep.
And then Mike D'Antonio is leaving Houston, and he's going to probably go coach Brooklyn. No, not Brooklyn. He'll probably end up coaching... He's going probably like Philly or something. They're talking. Brooklyn's got Steve Nash and that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I mean, again, they made the big deal about about Nash and that. Like, dude, Durant recruited Nash, the coach. So, if your superstar wants him to coach it, then he's going to get what he wants.
Well, that just kind of shows you how the inmates run the asylum in the NBA. We talk about it a lot. In some respects, I don't mind that, but in a lot...
no, I don't mind it at all, because I think Nash was essentially a coach on the floor when he was playing.
But to me, the fact that these players are leveraging who their boss is going to be is never a good thing.
No.
Like, I don't want... If all my employees come and say, I want him to be my boss, I don't know that I'm going to jump to do that, because, maybe everybody thinks they're getting one over, or that they're going to have it easier, or that they're going to get, preferential treatment, or whatever the case may be. So, my boss is the guy that I have running the crew is not necessarily the most popular guy, but he will be the most respected. So, I don't know that he qualifies for that, because though he was a great player and kind of a leader on the floor, he's got to lead egos, and he's got to deal with that whole scenario.
Right.
And we don't know how he's going to be, and you're going to go over there and I don't know, man. The Tyronn Lue experiment, that's what this is. It's a replay of that.
Right.
And it was okay, and it worked in the East with a horrible conference and a LeBron James.
Right.
But so it could work over there. A repeat situation. I just never liked it. I was just never a fan of it. I don't. I've never seen a successful machine run where, the inmates got to pick their fucking guard. Like, I just never seen it work that way. It's kind of like having your head coach pick your general manager. It's just fucking backwards. So to me, to have your players picking your coach, it's backwards. So I just don't feel that that's a recipe for success. And then that doesn't even get into the whole Kyrie thing. You think he's going to be able to fucking deal with him?
No.
Bam, dude. Then what are we doing here?
Yeah, because again, I don't think.
Then what are we doing here?
I don't think there's. I mean, there's probably only. I don't think there's any coach out there that can deal with, because again, Brad Stevens, who could flat out coach, couldn't deal with them.
Well, Brad Stevens is a younger coach,
and
so I'm going to say
Pop.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like,
I mean, because if you go by somebody who basically is truly respected throughout the league and has won more than anybody else in the league right now and still coaching, that's Popovich.
But that goes to my point, right? Like, why were you bringing in Nash when he would essentially, I don't care what he did in the league, he's a young coach.
Do you bring in Popovich to take over the Clippers?
Pop's 100 years old. Does he want to do that?
Does
he want to take on that kind of challenge? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, the one thing is this team's set up to win, and that on there with the personnel wise. But does he want to do it, or does he say, you know what, I'm going to coach another 2 years in San Antonio and I'm done? Walk away. Dude, you won 5 rings.
Oh, yeah. If
There's nothing for...
Yeah.
He's got nothing to prove.
Right. No, I'm with you. No, I mean, if I'm Pop, I'm not doing it. I'm 70-something years old.
They're talking about bringing back like Jeff Van Gundy to Houston.
Oh, he'll probably land there.
Again.
It's insane to me. It doesn't make any sense. Why are we doing this again?
Right.
Because he sounds good on television. Why don't you just bring Mark Jackson in to start coaching?
Right.
I mean, we'll just everybody that used to coach that's now on ESPN. We'll just give them all jobs. But once again, if you think you got a guy that can coach these egos, that's what it boils down to.
But again, remember, whoever wins it on there, guess who's back next year? Golden State. With a lottery pick.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So you think they're going to be like, we're going to win it, we're going to repeat? I don't know, man. You got Golden State there with a chip on their shoulder saying, yeah, we didn't win because everybody was hurt.
Right.
And now we're better. We got a lottery pick, too, on top of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, enjoy your championship because I doubt it's going to be a repeat. But again, enjoy Miami and Boston. It's going to be a fun series to watch.
Absolutely.
It's going 7.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I'm trying to get my little webcam set up since my head's cut off. But anyway, good basketball going on. I am anxious to get through it. I think this has been an awesome playoff. So I'm super excited.
It's been really good to watch. You've gotten some really good basketball here wise on there, and again, I enjoyed it. I've been watching on there. You've been trying to, basically, again, watching from the phone, watching from the laptop, watching from the TV, wherever I can watch it. I've been watching on there,
right?
And then again, it's been thoroughly enjoyable on it. And you're starting to see some of these cats, especially some of the younger guys out there that have just taken them. You go, holy Jesus! Donovan Mitchell,
yep.
And you've had Damian Lillard, and now you got Jamal Murray, dude. It's been fun. I think the talent level on there has been outstanding in these playoffs.
That has been.
Across the board, except for Philly. And Brooklyn. But Brooklyn had like their C team. But Philly actually had starters and on.
Oh, shoot.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back here, we're going to talk a little bit about actually college football.
Snap.
Again, we'll get more into
Big
depth
Ten
on the
backpedaling.
Backpedaling on there. Is it going to even really happen there? And
who knows?
What is the worst case scenario for the Big Ten on there? On the flip side here, we are DSR2 Studio 57 Radio.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, Scrappy here to tell you about That Radio Show. Hang with me as I break down the world of entertainment with great guests, celebrity interviews, awesome games with wonderful prizes. Also, we've got the biggest library of underground hip-hop of any station on the net. You mix in a little stand-up comedy and a text line so your voice can be heard, and you got a pretty good little show. But add listener-controlled programming? Yeah, you heard me. Listener-controlled programming, where you, the listener, can decide what makes it on the air. And now you've got the greatest show ever created. So join my show, your show, our show, the people's show, That Radio Show, each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only here on Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, this is your boy Big D, here to tell you about Mark for Life Tattoos. Guys, this place is the cleanest, most laid-back studio in Metro Detroit, and the artists are top-notch. And if you're like me from the D, you need to stop in on Fridays for that D-Day and get your Old English D for only $20. Not interested in tattoos? Mark for Life does body piercings. Mark for Life is located at 22533 Van Dyke in Warren, and the guys are there 7 days a week from noon to 9. So give them a call at 757-2222. That's 586-757-2222. Tell them Studio 57 sent you and get 20% off. So what are you waiting for? Call them now.
Hey everybody, Smokey here to tell you about Allstate Tire. With winter fast approaching, the most important thing between you and the road is your tires. So don't put your safety in just anybody's hands. Go to Allstate Tire. With new and quality used tires available, you can trust Allstate Tire for all your tire needs. You can visit them at 14208 9 Mile Road in Warren, or give them a call at 586-779-8759. Allstate Tire, your source for quality new and used tires.
What's happening, everybody? Scrappy here to tell you about Love and Life Club. Love and Life Club is a social networking club that's located at 19960 James Cousins. That's a Lodge service drive between 7 and 8 Mile Road in the D. You need to stop in for $5 Fridays for great music, food, and drinks. I personally recommend the chicken. Love and Life Club is also available for rental for bachelor parties, wedding receptions, or any party for that matter. For more information, log on to www.loveandlifeclub.com. That's loveandlifeclub.com, or call D at 313-999-2824. That's 313-999-2824. That's Love and Life Club. If you're loving life, you need to be in the club.
We are taking over this broadcast for the Ultimate Underground.
Studio 57 Radio Original. You know, when you hear that sound, you're gonna have a good time, because that's the sound of the Ultimate Underground live concert webcast from the Detroit area. We go to the most famous, or should I say infamous, venues in the D and bring the underground music scene from the streets to your computer like nobody else can. There's only one catch. You never know when and where the Ultimate Underground is going to take over a broadcast. So you need to stay tuned to Studio 57 Radio all day, every day for clues on when and where the next Ultimate Underground may happen. Now there's no other station on the net that's going to give you this live webcast of some of the hottest artists in the D. That's the Ultimate Underground live on your home for hip-hop, rock and metal, Studio 57 Radio, baby.
Goodbye.
You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. Studio 57 is a 32-track digital recording studio that utilizes Cool Edit, Logic Pro, Shure, AKG, Sennheiser, Yamaha, Korg, Mackie, Boss, Ibanez, Fender, Fruity Loops, and many, many more to make your music pop. Experienced and friendly engineers make Studio 57 feel like you're home away from home. With beat creation, mixing, mastering, digital media conversion, and DJs for any event, Studio 57 Records is your one-stop shop for all your music entertainment needs. We have online bill pay and flexible payment schedules. That makes Studio 57 the place to be. For more information, visit Studio57records.com. That's www.studio57records.com, or call us at 586-420-3390. That's 586-420-3390, or log on to Studio57records.com. And just remember one thing, baby. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering on great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Alright, the rebels, we're back. We're doing horrible, wonderful things all at the very same time. Yes, we are. Oh, I don't even know what I'm doing here. But welcome back to more DSR2. Hour 1 is in the books. Hour 2 of the debacle begins now. Talk a little NFL, a little NBA. We got some college football. Probably sneak a little hockey in the mix, whatever we can get in. We'd love to hear from you. Text line is open, 313-307-5340. And I'll pick up some losers fantasy moments, so hold on tight, buckle up. It is time to get rolling in hour 2. So without further ado, let's do the do that we do at DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here is Johnny the Moose.
Hey, we are back here for the second hour of DSR2 on this wonderful Wednesday here in the day. It was nice and somewhat sunny out there, a little haze on there from the fires out west. And again, as the sun set it was a brilliant orange globe on there. I mean, it was weird and freaky as apocalypse was upon us. In case you missed the first hour, we talked a lot about the NFL Week 1, where the breakdowns on there, about the upsets and basically the teams that seem to have had the more cohesion there and basically the status quo there with same coaching, same personnel, seem to have done better on Week 1. Also, we talked about the NBA playoffs out there, which was spectacular. Game 7 there last night with Denver and the Clippers. The Nuggets come back losing in that game, down that series 3-1, come back and win that with win 3 straight wins on there. And again, Boston and Miami with an epic game 1 battle going in overtime on there. That series is going 7.
Yeah, that's that's the one to watch to me, and I'll be tuning in. That'll be my thing. I'll be all over that one. I'll be interested with the LA Nuggets scenario, but that Eastern Conference is going to be where it's at for me.
Yes.
Just saying.
So we're getting into it. We're going to get a little bit of college football here. The Big Ten took a vote unanimously, and they are going to start the season on October 24th, maybe. We'll see what happens on there. Again, because this just came in today on there. It was actually within the last hour. Missouri is down 12 players to Alabama because of COVID protocols. Now, if that was a Big Ten, they're forfeiting the game, or they're out that game. That right. On there, that's your 7.5%.
Yep.
So on it, I mean, again, we'll see what happens there. And again, I still think they're selling out there to fulfill the TV, and they bowed down to political pressure there in the Big Ten wise.
The bottom line was the president put heat on them. Period. Because they didn't backpedal till the president put heat on him and then went public with it.
Right.
So I really don't think, call a spade, man. They're not playing if the president didn't put pressure on them.
Right.
I'm sorry. And quite frankly, I don't know that it isn't the right decision to stand down. I don't know why it's so prudent to put these kids at risk, but every single campus that's allowed kids on it has had a COVID outbreak.
Right.
These games are all going to be suspect at best. And then you're going to have, what level of competition are you going to have? Even if you get the team, you're not getting matchups you want.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And then even if you do get a decent matchup, what are you going to have on the field?
You've gotten kids from Michigan that said we're opting out on there already. Their best players
Right.
said we're not playing this year. We're opting out. We're just going to sit and go train for the NFL.
Yeah,
and go from there.
I wouldn't
Again,
play.
what does Justin Fields have to play for?
Right. The same thing with Trevor
Nothing.
Lawrence. What the hell
They
is he
have
doing?
nothing to play for, dude.
Right.
What the hell do I want to play? Yeah, I want to play too, but I'm 55 and I can't anymore.
Well, some things are just smarter.
Sit, you know.
I mean-
yeah, opt out, train for the NFL, and basically you're going to Trevor Lawrence. Guess what? You can opt out, and you're still the number one pick overall.
Well, we talked about all this last week, right? This is all about money. And even when they try to make an argument for the kids, it still comes down to money. Well, about their potential, their future earning potentials. That's what this is about. Well, guess what? Their future earning potential isn't contingent on this season, because if you're that good, you're getting paid. Right. If you're not that good and you play another year, what the fuck is it? You think that playing another year in the COVID season is going to get you paid?
Right.
It's not.
No, I mean here's the top players out there. We're basically sitting out for. Hold on here. What was it?
So to me, it just doesn't make any fucking sense, because either way, you're either you're getting drafted or you're not. Nothing you're going to do during a COVID laden fucked up season is going to affect your draft stock. I just don't see how that's.
Well, here it is right now. Is the best players in the Big Ten that are sitting out down there. You've got Rashawn Bateman, wide receiver from Minnesota, who's a first rounder. Micah Parsons, linebacker from Penn State, who could considerably be a top 10 pick. Cornerback Sean Wade from Ohio State, potential probably first rounder. Wyatt Davis, offensive lineman from Ohio State, first rounder. Rashawn Slater, definitely from Northwestern, could be on there. Rondale Moore, wide receiver from Purdue, a first rounder potentially on there, sitting out on that. Probably the most dynamic player in the Big Ten wise on there. Jalen Mayfield, offensive tackle on there. It's probably going to be a first rounder. Aubrey Thomas, cornerback from Michigan, probably going to get drafted on there. And also you got now Nico Collins from Michigan also sitting out, who's probably going to be at worst a second rounder. Dude, there it is. I mean, you've got pretty much, other than Fields, all the best players are sitting out.
All right.
Now you've got Dylan McCaffrey, who's opting out this season, but he's probably going to transfer on that because he lost the quarterback battle with Joe Mixon. Not Joe Mixon, but you got that happening. So
313-307-5340. What's your take on college? I know everybody wants to have it back. I know everybody wants to watch it, but I mean, are you hyped up over this watered down bullshit version of what college football is going to be this year? I mean, I can't even get pumped about it. It doesn't matter that the Big Ten comes back. It doesn't matter if they play 8 games or 12 games or whatever they do. You just listed a whole shit ton of reasons why I'm not going to be interested, why I'm not going to be watching that game, why I'm not hyped over this stuff. But I want to hear from you guys. 313-307-5340. Of course, Studio57Radio.com and Studio 57 Radio on all social media, except for Twitter. It would be at Studio 57. But, I mean, it's hard to get up for any of these games. So yes. I don't know what they're accomplishing.
I'm the least excited about college football that I've ever been. Because, again, I don't think they're going to get through it. I mean, we've already seen teams that are basically postponing games or whatever because of COVID. Right. And you think it's only going to get better? I mean, every freaking team college down south has pretty much had outbreaks on there.
Right. Yeah.
And you think...
it's just one of those things, man, where I wish I could when my dumb ass is the smartest one in the room, we got fucking problems. And that's what I kind of feel like when we talk about this college football stuff. Like, there's so many things that we bring up that are not even aren't even a
topic of conversation.
They had
350 kids test positive since Friday at Penn State.
I know, but nobody even talks about this shit when they make their arguing points, or they talk about why it should be going on, or well, this, that, or the other. This is not even a consideration.
Right.
It's, oh, well, we have testing. We can do this safely. Others have done it safely, but you have not. You have proven that on these campuses you can't get it done.
No.
And so what's rapid testing going to do?
This just shows you that, you know what, it's bullshit that it's an amateur sport.
Right.
You're worried about money, pro sports out there, but these cats are not getting paid.
No, right. Oh, no,
Whereas
they're worried
the NFL,
about
the NHL. You know what? Those are professional athletes, and they're big boys, and they can make an adult's decision.
The only ones pushing to get this thing going are ones that have financial stake in it.
Exactly.
It's that fucking simple. It really
Fine.
is.
Play. You know what? Somebody comes down with
Like I said, like
myocarditis on there,
Yeah.
or some kid dies on the field or whatever, or dies
Yep.
because he played on there. Then you know what? I don't give a damn. It's all on you then.
Well, that's kind of what I've gotten to. Like I said earlier, there's kind of almost this morbid curiosity of like, just go ahead and let this train wreck happen.
Right.
You know, like, well, fuck whatever. It's the same thing with these fucking parents that want their fucking kids to play so bad. It's the same thing with high school sports here in Michigan. That's why everybody's getting all mad. Well, the high school kids are playing, but they fucking shouldn't be. They even said, the state even said that we don't want them doing it, but you're fucking ignorant asses, all these parents want them to play so goddamn bad and want them to go back to school so goddamn bad to get them out of their hair that they don't give a fuck. It's really that simple, and that's why that's why the governor is bowed down to this stuff. It's because of the political pressure, the public pressure, the media pressure to get this thing done when it's not safe. When everybody in the medical community is telling you, all the science is telling you that this is not what we should be doing, yet we are still fucking doing it.
Right.
It makes no fucking sense. It's these kind of actions and these kind of behaviors is why we can't travel internationally.
No.
It's that simple. Like, if you guys...
We're going to play with fans in the stands, but the British Premier League in soccer is still saying, and they're better off than we are, saying no.
Right.
They're empty.
Right. And
Europe soccer is saying, we're empty. And they're better off than we are.
But our handling of all the situation is a direct result of how we're allowed to move around this world. No other country is going to let any of us in if we continue working in these kind of manners, in this behavior. They're just not. So, I mean, the fuck? I don't know. It's just a horribly flawed system.
Whatever
that they're
happens this
working
year
with
is
right now.
basically a huge, big asterisk because it doesn't mean shit.
I was about to say, is anybody going to get up for the national champion anyway? I mean, is there a big Sports Illustrated fucking commercial? And do I get I mean, nobody fucking. No
Now USC
care.
players are going to send a letter to Governor Newsom. Dude, your whole state's on frickin' fire. You can't play anyways because you can't fucking breathe.
I know.
But we want to play on it. Well, dude, they have to postpone baseball games in Seattle because of fires.
I know. It's just
Jesus, you watch it, you look at the sky, it's freaking orange in Oakland and San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
But, I want to play my football. Really?
dude. The shit. Look, when you see images of California, the shit looks like straight out of a fucking like apocalyptic movie or something.
Yes.
It looks like it's
Somebody took a
it's like
flyby.
from the Devil's Advocate or something.
Somebody took a fly. I think it was in Frisco and that with the orange skies, and they had a drone and all that. And he basically took the soundtrack from Blade Runner because it looked right out of Blade Runner.
Gosh, I mean, some of that's no guy. And shout out to SoCal Mike. I hope you guys are doing good out there. I mean, it's insane. But I mean, there's just 1,000,001 things that are keeping us from doing this. It's not just. I don't know.
I don't understand it on there. And again, I think when it's all said and done, the Pac-12 is going to look like geniuses.
Well, my whole thing, it's not even about looking like geniuses. It's everybody else is going to look like fucking assholes because they fucking caved to a handful of idiots.
Right.
That don't know what they're doing, even though you know fucking better.
Yes.
And that's where the fucking problem lies. Is that you know better, but you
have the government, the president of
right.
Michigan. The president of Michigan say, what was their job before becoming president of the university? They were ophthalmologists. They were infectious disease doctors.
Yeah.
And they're basically saying is, no, we're not going to do this. And they basically caved in.
Yeah.
Because of pressure from the president and pressure from from the money wise to fulfill the TV contract. Because if Michigan doesn't play football, they could take a $100 million loss in revenue.
But
again, if one kid dies on that field from your team, that guess what? You're going to be paying out the ass.
I was about to say that whatever you make in revenue is not going to matter when that first lawsuit comes.
Right.
Because
all that money's going
you best believe it's coming. You best believe it's coming.
Because somebody's going to die.
Well, even if they
multiple
don't,
kids are going to end up dying.
even if a kid doesn't die, if there's any long-term effect, we see it all the time.
Well, yeah,
right?
we're going to see it 8 years from now when you're
Right.
seeing all these kids that are 28
Damn
years
right.
old with heart damage.
Damn
That's
right.
freaking, they're dropping over dead because they played football.
Damn right.
Then the lawsuit's going to happen. Maybe not this year, but guess what? 10 years from now, lawsuit city.
We see it all the time. Shit. Johnson & Johnson's getting hit for baby powder. Like, let's be fucking real. Like, down the road, this is going to be an issue. Michigan State, a handful of other schools understand the gravity of the situation we're in and what could happen down the road. And I feel that they were prudent with that and dealing with that. You know, I don't know, whatever. I'm not trying to rail on these cats for playing. I just, if everybody wants to play, and if the kids want to play, let them play. They're still technically adults. Let them play. I get all that. But sometimes you've got to look out for other people's best interest. And to me, this is not in anybody's best interest except for the cats making money. And guess who is not making money? The fucking players. The kids you're asking to put out there.
Well, yeah,
put
and then
their
you have
life
all
at
those
risk.
kids that were going to file lawsuits against the Big Ten in Nebraska. Oh, yeah, what? Nebraska? Okay, Nebraska. What have you ever brought to the Big Ten? Nothing.
Right. Well, you can't sue a conference for doing something that you just can't do, right?
Looking out for your best interest. I mean, they are. They're again by not playing on there. They're looking out for your long-term best interest. Basically, is you know what life. You know what we want you to live.
Right.
You know what? Go. You can still go to class online, and we want you to have a long, healthy life. You play this on it. You're rolling the dice.
Yeah.
Sign a waiver then.
Our loyal listener, Canada Mike, he's like, Canada will let us out, but just not to the U.S. And they won't let us in. And I guess that's my point.
You know what? The plus side is, you know what? Again, guess what? You guys didn't even. You haven't had a death on there recently. I mean, there's a couple days where you had 0 deaths there. So, you know what? Your guys got it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, the jokes running around there is you feel like you're living up above your apartment building. You're living above a meth lab.
Yes, it's basically what it is right now. And they won't let any of us in there either. So
No.
and I don't blame them. I think, and that's a big part of what's happening here, is that there's other ramifications beyond just the health ramifications. Now, if you continue to let this fucking plague spread and keep moving, these things are going to happen. You're not going to be able to travel. You're not going to be able to have international this, that, or the other thing.
We're not allowed to go anywhere in the world anyways.
I know, but this is going to continue. It's only going to get worse. And college football is kind of glorifying that by just doing it and going for it. And it's like, oh, we're not worried about it. And I don't know, man. It's just, to me, all this is going to blow up in somebody's face. I just don't see how it doesn't. I mean, gosh, you guys are going to look like, JPP with just a couple fingers left over.
Then you got Ed Ogeron going, well, we've all had it on there. We just hope we're in that window there, that 90-day window, so we don't get it again. Dude, that's not the way that...
That's not, yeah. 90-day window where you can't get it again.
Hopefully.
That's only a theory.
Right.
And it's already been proven to be a theory that isn't sustainable because there's already been cases of cats that have had COVID twice.
Right.
So it's not.
You're rolling the dice and saying, hopefully we won't get it on here. But again,
see, I'm all with the whole COVID thing. I get that it's going to change and COVID's probably going to be around here for a while. We're not going to really get rid of it. But if every medical professional in the world is saying that we need to have a vaccine around for at least a year before you can start packing these stadiums with people again, what the fuck are we doing now when we don't even have one at all?
we can't even wear a mask. And the head of the CDC today came out and said, mask is the best thing out there. It's better than the vaccine at this moment in time.
Right.
Wear a mask.
Right.
On it. But I think again we'll get into football and everything with it. If it happens, it happens. I don't see him finishing the season. I really don't.
I don't either. I don't see any feasible way that they could do that. I just really don't. So it's going to be one of them crazy years with the college football. I think it'll be the craziest of all crazies. And once again, don't touch any bets on that shit. Because there probably won't be any good bets out there to have, to be honest with you. We'll just see how it plays out. I don't know. You know, from one entity doing everything so fucked up and just so unorganized and out of whack to one that's actually doing shit right. The NHL has had probably the best success in pulling off their product, in my opinion. You know, they're not pumping in fake audio. They're not putting fucking people in the stands that aren't there with cameras or fucking screens or cutouts. They're just out there playing some good goddamn hockey.
Yeah.
And the Tampa Bay Lightning were fucking fast-tracking their way to another Stanley Cup Finals, but we will have to hold off on that for
Game 6 on Thursday. They've lost. Lost the other day on Tuesday 2-1 in double overtime, and they're going to face the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing: do we have a Denver Nuggets scenario on our hands? Is there a comeback in the Islanders?
There could be.
So, I mean, we've seen crazier shit already in the NBA. The NBA is doing its best version of the NHL. So maybe the NHL has a little something up its sleeve here. We will see. But you're still getting good.
You're going to get some really good hockey there.
Getting good hockey this year, yeah, for sure. So, Dallas Stars, when's the last time they've been in the you know, and if this time of year I was talking about Dallas, you sure as hell wouldn't think I was talking about the Stars. But when's the last time they got to a Stanley Cup?
99.
Yeah, so they've had a good 20 years.
They should have lost to freaking Buffalo. Remember that one?
Yeah.
That was the goal on there. It should have been not disqualified.
Yeah, right.
On there, and they beat Buffalo on that. So that's the last time they went. And but again, Dallas has got some nice talent wise. I mean, again, Vegas was the favorite on there, but Dallas ended up pulling up. But again, we'll see what happens with the Islanders and Tampa Bay. Tampa's got the most talent of any team out there right now.
Yeah,
but the Islanders are just gritty as hell.
Yep. Well, and we see what that's done in the NBA, so we'll see what happens with the NHL. Some good games, good playoff stuff out there for sure.
And Capitals hired Peter Laviolette as their head coach. It doesn't matter because they're going to still lose in the first round.
Yeah, right.
Because they're the Capitals. And we didn't even pick them this year, and they still lost.
Yeah.
You remember the year they didn't, where they won it all? We didn't pick them. Because why? And then they're not re-signing their coach. Dipshits. But we'll see what happens there.
So, I don't know, man. It's a sensory overload with all these sports on at the time, all the time like that. It's just wild. Oh shit!
And we'll have a new team next year, the Seattle Kraken.
Oh, the Seattle McCrakens.
Kraken. And they chose a crappy uniform too. Should have been the damn freaking octopus, the evil octopus, the Kraken coming up on it.
All right.
It's an ass, and it kind of looks like a octopus type sea monster, but not really.
But not really.
Dude, you could have had a wicked ass. Like the colors, but you could have sign. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be interesting, but yeah, again. But actually been able to watch the game, especially on the weekends on NBC. And they've done a good, nice job. I mean, the plus side is they got rid of Mike Milbury and Jernick, so that's always a plus. Both got fired on there for doing stupid shit. Milbury probably shouldn't have got fired for what he done, but he should have got fired because he's just terrible. Ronick's just a fucking meathead.
On the topic of NCAA football, Jim's with us. He says money talks.
Exactly.
And
they don't care.
Yep. That's
the players.
Yep. And they to rise a little more stringent, maybe is what I should say.
More science-based.
Yeah, and they're just a more stringent, so that's what's going to happen. Ultimately, all this stuff that we're seeing is going to have an effect on us nationally or internationally. It's not just about sports, too. So we'll see how that plays out, but I just think that's a big part of it. Us getting back to normal is, being responsible when it comes to this kind of stuff, too, whether it be college or pro sports or getting, people back together in public, whatever the case may be. So there we go. All right, Moose, we have got to get our pick'ems in, but before we do that, you know what it is.
I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back this feeling for so long.
So we got lots here to go on there. We got, of course, Moose's fantasy moment. And again, we've got lots of injuries going on here. So you're going to try to say, who the hell did I pick up here? Who am I going to do to save my season on there? I drafted Le'Veon Bell early. He's got a pull hammy. Oh, crap. I drafted Marlon Mack, but I didn't get Jonathan Taylor on there. What am I to do? What am I to do on that? Don't worry. Uncle Moosey's got your help here. On there. We can get down there. Obviously, you're not going to get Jonathan Taylor. Why? Because he's gone. He was taken in probably the round before Marlon Mack because he's just a better player.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we go. Here with your Moose's fantasy picks on there. Wise is again. Mac Brown, running back from the Rams on there. He's going to be probably their short yardage back, their goal line back on there. He does look definitely a lot more powerful on there, so definitely pick him up on that as well. And then if you're really dire on there, look what AJ Peterson did on that. For at least a short term on there, he'll be okay on it. I don't think he's going to get a bulk of the amount of carries he got in week 1 on there. But if you really need somebody on there, Benny Snell. Pittsburgh. I think he's going to primarily take over as the feature back there. Connor's banged up under. Snell's just a little bit more powerful of a back, stays a little bit healthier than that. Plus, he runs angry on it, so I always like that as well. James Robinson, running back from the Jacksonville, believe it or not. If you're really desperate on there, actually had a pretty good game against a pretty good defense there in Indianapolis-wise as well. But and again, of course, right now, short-term wise, is going to be the corpse of Frank Gore is going to probably be your featured back for the Jets wise, but they're terrible. If you're really, really desperate on it, look at that on as well on it. Running back, receiver wise, I do see a lot of good ones on there. Anthony Miller from Chicago is probably going to be their best receiver for the majority of the season. He's looked really good on there as well. He's not the featured one, but he's definitely one to look at. Also is. Robbie Anderson's going to be the speed receiver, the speed on there for Carolina, and also I do definitely like is Corey Davis. I think he's going to have a nice comeback as well on it. If you took Blake Jarwin on there as your tight end on it, don't worry about it. O.J. Howard is available in most of your leagues on there. Same thing with Dallas Goedert and Logan Thomas on it. Though I like those as well. Quarterback-wise, dude, you should have a decent quarterback on there. If you didn't, if you took Sam Darnold, you poor dumb bastard. If you took Ryan Fitzpatrick, you poor dumb bastard on there. I'm going to, then again, backup-wise on there, David Carr or Ryan Tannehill. And if you really need a kicker, don't even talk to me. Don't. If you took a bad defense-wise, well, again, that's your own fault. Take the Rams. They're probably available. Or the Broncos on that. So there's your fantasy moment on it. It's week 1. It's week 1. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Unless you drafted poorly, then that's really your own fault. Right. I didn't. I won. As well. So there we go.
All right.
And
all right, we got some. We got to get into some pick'ems, don't we?
Yep.
Let's pick up the pace with our NFL pick'ems. Now, last week we weren't great.
We weren't terrible. We were kind of but you didn't lose the house. You just had to pay dues.
Yeah.
I think we were like both 8-8, so it wasn't great. But again, we weren't terrible on there, but we weren't great. Because again, we thought about all these upsets.
Right, yeah.
Just the ridiculous ones.
All right, well.
We got tomorrow night, we got the Battle for Ohio.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Jesus. Why the hell did they, what was this? I thought Thursday night's supposed to have, Thursday night. They just get what they give them. So we got at Cleveland for their home opener. The Browns are 6-point favorite against the Bengals. Bengals came off a hard loss to San Diego, and the Browns just sucked.
Yeah,
on there.
I was about to say. I mean, at least you saw some flashes with Burrows. Like he looked like he was, having fun, and he's a good player, and he's ready to go. But that team just does not like him very much. But the total implosion, it's like of Cleveland, man. Like who? Can they both lose this game? Can it end in a double odds?
Lose on this
if
one.
you're watching this game, that's who truly loses.
You truly lose on this one. I think the Browns two-headed
damn.
running attack on there with Chubb and Hunt is probably enough to get them to win on that. And again, I don't think the Bengals are all that great on there. And then Cleveland, we know what they are on it.
Right.
So I'm going to have to go with the Browns winning at home.
I'm with
and I
you.
think they're going to just have to run the ball.
I'm with you, but I am very reluctant. So
I don't know if I would not
reluctantly-
touch this.
Yeah. No. I'll reluctantly take Cleveland. Very reluctantly.
So we got starting on Sunday at 1 o'clock at Chicago. The Bears are 5.5 point favorite against the Giants. Wise on that one. Bears did not look all that great. Yeah, they came back and won on that one because it was the Lions. Trubisky's really not that good on there. Giants defense is suspect on it. But again, I got a feeling this. I don't think the Giants are that bad on there. They actually moved the ball against Pittsburgh. Just that long drive, the heartbreak with the interception-wise, that's what pretty much did them in on it. I got the Giants pulling an upset.
Yeah, I'm not feeling
Because Jones is better than Trubisky.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But I don't know if I'm feeling that. The G-men are just a mess. I don't. This is another one of those games. Like, God damn it! Like we lose for watching.
But news is it won't be on here, though.
Yeah, right. But I'm gonna lean towards Chicago. I'm gonna take Chicago in this game. I'm not really sure why, but I expect a little bit more out of Trubisky from a management standpoint than I do out of any quarterback that seems to lace it up now here for New York. So we'll see what happens. But I'm taking Chicago.
All right, the Cowboys are at home on their Jerry World. They're a 4-point favorite against the Falcons. Falcons basically scored a lot of points there in garbage time on it. It doesn't matter. Yes, Matty Ice threw for like 5,000 yards in one game. But again, it was all in garbage time on there. Cowboys are beat up and everything. But I think the Cowboys at home are enough to beat the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Falcons showed me what I knew they were already. They're a mess. So yeah, I got the Falcons getting their wings clipped by the Cowboys.
And what should be the easiest game, but it's not the biggest spread on there. The Packers are at home at Lambeau Field. They're a 6.5 point favorite against the Lions.
Oh my goodness! Is that it?
That's it.
Because the Lions are horrible, and it doesn't matter
They're
how
beat up. They have no secondary.
Yeah. And they you could
who to start for fantasy? Every damn Packer.
Well, like we say every year, right? With every matchup against Detroit. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, I got Green Bay, putting it on them, putting it on some fierce because you've got no secondary. So,
right.
I mean, AA Ron's going to be AA Ron.
On that. So we got the Titans are at home. They're a 9-point favorite against the Jaguars. Titans came off an okay win against Denver. Jaguars came against a nice win against Indy on this one. I got the Titans win this one. I think the Titans are just a little better on there. So we'll talk about that.
Well, and that's what it boils down to.
Derrick Henry's a man.
But I mean, the Jags are just that bad. It feels like,
right.
And they're in full-on tank mode. And
it should have been. They should have lost, but they ended up winning that game.
Well, yeah, I think they tried to lose. I think that win was an accident. But there you go. I'm going to take Tennessee as well.
All right, the Colts are at home. They're a 3-point favorite against the Vikings on it. Ugh. This is one I don't know which win. Vikings look terrible on it in that game. Yeah, they scored 24 points in the fourth quarter, but first 3 quarters they look just downright terrible on it.
Yeah, it's a tough one because your boy Phillip Rivers loves to give games away.
Right.
So that's a tough call.
I'm gonna have to say getting on there. I'm gonna have to go with the Vikings on this one. Give the ball to Dalvin Cook more than freaking 10 times.
Yeah, I think if they get a good game plan together, they could probably pull this one off. I wouldn't like Indy to kind of come back. I just don't know that the whole Phillip Rivers experiment is working well. I'm gonna take Minnesota in this game.
All right, Bills are a 5.5-point favorite at Miami. The Dolphins wise on it. Dolphins came off a terrible loss to New England there. Freaking Fitzpatrick looked terrible, and again, he's going against like another great defense wise with the Bills on this one. I like the Bills covering this one on there.
Yeah, I mean, until we start seeing something out of Tua Tagovailoa, I just don't see any like real upgrades for Miami anywhere. And Buffalo's been having a good couple of years, really.
Right.
Resurgence, so to speak. So, yeah, I definitely like Buffalo in this situation.
All right, again, the 49ers travel east. They face the Jets. They're only a 7-point favorite against the Jets on there. I normally don't like the West Coast team coming east on there, but this is against the Jets.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean,
after a bad loss to Arizona last week on there, I don't see them losing to the Jets.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So again, on this one, Adam Gase will be the first coach fired.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
Just terrible.
He'll never be another head coach again. Rams are a 1-point favorite against the Eagles. Eagles fell apart on that one. Rams had a nice win on that. Again, another West Coast team coming east on that one. Rams defense is really good. Aaron Donald is a monster. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on the Eagles. I'm going to take the Rams.
After falling apart against Washington, I'm not sold on the Eagles either. And I thought I had one here on you, Moose.
No.
And we get off of here. But I'm with you. I'm not sold on the Eagles. They need to get some things together. I'll take the Rams in this matchup.
Yeah.
Sure.
Steelers are at home, the 7.5-point favorite against the Broncos. I can't believe that's only their 7.5-point favorite.
Well, that's what I'm saying, especially after the Von Miller thing.
Von Miller's out on there. Courtney Sutton's banged up. He's got a shoulder injury on it. Dude, give me the Steelers.
Well, in the coaching that the Steelers have been getting has been out freaking standing. So, I'm with you all day long, and twice on Sundays we'll go Steelers over the Broncos.
All right, Buccaneers are at home. They're a 9.5-point favorite against the Panthers. Tom Brady gets to get his home starter again at an empty stadium there. Panthers did not look that bad last week on there. Buccaneers, Brady had a couple bad throws on there, so that's definitely going to show. Are they going to right the ship and everything with it? I think the Panthers are really not a good team on there. I think Teddy Bridgewater is better than Kyle Allen. I think the offense is going to be okay in there, but the defense is terrible on it. I'm going to say give me the Buccaneers.
Yeah, Tom Brady needs to, get things squared away from last week. That can't be, and I expect it to be a full-on revenge tour next week, and Carolina just another victim.
All right, we got the Cardinals are at home. They're 6.5-point favorite against Washington football team. On it, Washington had a nice, impressive win on there. They're going out west in it. And again, offense-wise, not great, but the defense looked really good on there. Cardinals had a really nice win against 49ers on it. Got to go against my boy Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was a great little story of the Washington football team and all that other stuff, and I don't have a updated graphic. I got to get a new graphic for that.
But again,
yeah,
he's on a pylon like Carson Wentz. Kyler Murray, if you get him on his faces, he's gone.
Yep.
He's going to the house there.
Yep.
On that. Okay, we got the Chiefs going against the Chargers. The only plus side is Chargers not going to be playing in front of a bunch of Chief fans. They're just going to be playing in front of a bunch of Chief cutouts.
Yeah.
That is an 8.5-point favorite by the Chiefs. Yes,
more so.
Give me the Chiefs.
Yes.
I'll give away the points. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the Chargers got nothing going for them, and against the Chiefs, that's just going to be. Oh, it's going to be. That could be ugly.
On there. All right, we got the Ravens against the Texans at Texas. Ravens are a 7-point favorite on the road. Texas looked terrible against the Kansas City, and they're going to look terrible against the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Ravens.
You thought Kansas City was able to put some pass rush on you? Wait till what Baltimore does.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they've gotten rid of too many weapons to be effective offensively, and Baltimore always has a great defense, and guess who they have at the helm?
Lamar Murray, and you got Mark Ingram, and you've got J.K. Dobbins.
I mean, it's
and
just
Marquise Hollywood Brown.
yeah, it's like just they're
Andrews.
like the complete opposite of one another. So
You just basically went from the best team on there to possibly the second, definitely the second best, but possibly like 1A, 1B out there. So on it.
Yep.
Sunday night game that actually looks like a good one on there. We got the Seahawks at home. They're a 4-point favorite against the Patriots. I got Seattle winning this one.
you know,
I don't think again the Seattle doesn't have a great defense wise on there, but I don't think New England can stop Russell Wilson and company.
well, that's my whole thing. If they allow Russ to be Russ, like we talked about earlier,
The only plus side is it's an empty stadium, and otherwise it'd be impossible with
the
Seattle
noise.
with the noise.
Yeah, I think that's the advantage that Cam's going to have in this situation. But I still, like I said, man, if Pete Carroll's going to let Russ be Russ, I don't see how New England could get by him. I like Seattle in this situation. I think the only way is if they straddle, they handcuff Russ and don't let him go. Because what's New England got to offer defensively?
They got a good secondary, but their pass rushes, everybody's sitting out linebacker wise and everything.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So,
and they don't have enough offense.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on the Russell Wilson bandwagon right now. So.
Okay, and then Monday night we got the Saints against the Raiders in Vegas. On there, Saints are a 6.5-point favorite. I'm calling upset. I'm calling Raiders. Michael Thomas is probably going to be out for several weeks there. I like the Raiders. Josh Jacobs is a man-child on it. I think they've got enough offense-wise with it. And I don't know. I think New Orleans is going to have a tough time moving the ball because they don't have their best receiver-wise, best receiver in the world out there. And we'll see what happens. But I like Vegas winning their first game at home.
I'm not with that. I just don't think Drew Brees can get the ball anywhere. He can make this team, he can manipulate, he can do all these different things. Raiders have not proven to me that they can handle what is going to be one of the better teams in the NFC. I'm not with it on that. So I'm going to take New Orleans in this game.
So we got a couple differences. Again, so we'll see what happens here. Scrappy's pretty much going all favorites, except for the Vikings. I've got 3 dogs. So we got 2 differences on there. We'll see what happens. So there we are with our pickups.
All right, NFL picks.
We got to do better.
Well, geez, Moose, we can't do any worse, can we? I mean,
Sure we can.
well, I mean, yeah, I guess we could. Yeah, I guess we could. Jeez Louise. Anyway, guys, I appreciate everybody getting in on the social media stuff. We're getting updates from the Royals over the Tigers. Okay. Appreciate that. But
Kansas City's up 4-0.
yeah, 4-0. Yeah. Tigers, it's a rough go for Tigers fans. It's a rough go for Detroit fans in general. It's a rough go for a lot of sports fans, it seems like. But hey, at least we got sports, baby. At least we got sports, and we got all of them. So I hope you guys are enjoying and not taking it for granted. So out of all of them, I think I'm most hyped right now. Obviously, I'm an NFL guy. So I'm super excited that we have the NFL. I think it's been the least affected from a camera TV standpoint. But I think right now the NBA has been putting out probably the most compelling product. And baseball to me has been a bit of a debacle, bit of a hard watch. And so I'm not sure if that's going to change come playoff time. But we'll see. NHL has been pretty good too. So for me, I'm going to say, with outside of the MLB and the NCAA debacle, the return to sports has been pretty damn successful.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, we've been able to get, the NBA's bubble was executed damn near to perfection. The NHL's was really perfect, and you're getting good quality sports because of it too. So I would have to say that the return to sports has been an overwhelming success, with the exception of just the obvious. The rush to get something done without preparation has fucked both baseball and NCAA.
Right.
And so those would be the only exceptions. So other than that, I think we've proven that we can get back to things if we just do a few things right. But everybody has to do them. If anybody doesn't do it, then it becomes a mess. That's what happened in baseball. That's what's happening in NCAA. But that's not what happened in the NHL and the NBA, because everybody stayed on board. So I think that's a microcosm. Like we always talk about sports being a microcosm of of real life. I think that just shows you right there. And we want to try to get some back to some kind of normalcy, but we'll see. So what's your take on sports' comeback? Has it been successful? Are you upset with what you're getting? Do you like the product? What's going on? 313-307-5340. I see people whining, complaining about the political stuff and the social activism and things like that. And it's like, guys, if you are allowing that to ruin your sports, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you. That stuff's not going to change, nor should it. And it's just one of those things where, like, if you're fine with all the horrible news and criminal behavior and all the things that we saw from the athletes prior, and that wasn't enough to get you to stop, I don't know why this is all of a sudden a thing for you. So if you're upset by that stuff, man, I really feel sorry for you, because you're missing out on some good stuff, especially NHL and NBA. And I expect the NFL season, though it to be a little bit challenging, to still be what we all live for each and every year, and that's good, crazy, good
Right.
football. So if we're not on the show, of course, you can hit us up in that text line again at any time, and maybe we'll have a conversation about what you want on the air, which is what we like to do. This is your show. We are just kind of steering the ship here. On a programming note, the BCU podcast will return this week, though it will not be on Sunday. We will be moving to Monday at 7 p.m., so we'll get in before the NFL games and before Raw, and we'll get that thing going. Lots and lots of stuff to get into in the world of belt collecting, guys. I just haven't been around for a couple of weeks with other stuff going, which I'll address here shortly, because everybody's been super cool, and I made a public statement before, so I should probably make one here as well, but we'll get to that in a minute. I want to bring the show down. Moose, your highlight of, the return to sports thus far?
Just the sheer awe of basically watching Kansas City's offense.
I'm telling you, that is it.
It was downright like, holy crap. I mean, just like you just on your Andy Reid with his freaking visor, you can't see out of it, and it's all foggy and rainy on there. But like them not even missing a beat.
I'm telling you.
Patrick Mahomes is still the most entertaining damn quarterback out there. And again, now them adding on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Again, Louis Riddick said it. The damn thing should be illegal.
I'm telling you.
Again, to watch that game, like, holy crap. I mean, it was an easy blow up, but I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just on there. I mean, I enjoyed it, but again, watching last night, again, watching Boston and Miami playing that game, it was fun to watch.
Yep.
It was exceptional to watch.
I was a little worried about like the restart was I was hesitant, and like before they got into the playoffs, the NBA wasn't catching me, and I'm like, gosh, NHL looks good, but like okay, and baseball's a mess, but now it's really started to settle in. The NBA has just been a highlight for me. I just love the quality of the games we're getting. I love the extra dynamic of the bubble and how they're working around all these other little things to make the showing of the games so much better. The schedule's a little goofy now that we're getting down to the Final Four. Obviously, you're getting a good schedule, but early on you had just weird times and things like that. So now that we're getting settled in, I really like it. And then, of course, the NFL is back, and I couldn't be more excited. They've had the most time to deal with the situation and seem to have done almost nothing.
Right.
So it is kind of concerning in that respect. But I am hopeful that we'll get a full NFL season and we'll get a good playoffs. Now, that's kind of where I have a little bit of a concern, is that when you get to the playoffs and it's this one-and-done scenario, it's even more crucial that we don't have issues. And does the NFL adopt a bubble situation for that? I think that it would be prudent that they do that, but I don't know if they will. And then I don't know how you're going to do the Super Bowl scenario when you talk about everything that goes around the Super Bowl itself. So I'm very curious on how the NFL season is going to play going forward. So those are probably the two things that I am most interested in. Is I want to see the conclusion of this NBA season. We've gotten some really good basketball, and I'm really just loving the kind of throwback that we're seeing in the East. And then, what's the NFL do? I know the NFL's back. We know we're excited about the NFL, and we're going to watch it regardless. But, like, how do they handle things moving forward? How does this season play out? How do these playoffs and all that stuff play out? Because it is a little bit different than these other sports. So I'm kind of curious. And if baseball, which is not really a contact sport, where they're not really on top of each other, had these kind of problems outside of a bubble, is that and the NCAA has been having their problems, does this become a problematic thing for the NFL? We'll see. Those are all things that I'm kind of looking forward to. So, and we'll see how it all plays out. I don't know.
We'll see.
Like I said, it's interesting. But I'm stoked that we got sports back and we got something else to talk about besides politics when you're 7-8 weeks away from a major election. It's like, right. Yeah, I can't go on social media, man. I don't know how any of y'all do it, but I can't fucking do it. I can't be around. I don't care what side of the fence you're on, dude. There's too many idiots out there to absorb. Yeah, to absorb all that politics and stuff. So. You're starting to see certain shows find ways to do their shows and get back. I'd love to see movies and stuff get back to production and things get back to normal there. So we're getting close, people, but it's not quite there yet. So, keep playing it safe and doing the right things out there, and we'll get through it. And, of course, each and every Wednesday we'll be trying to get your mind off all the crazy shit and just put it on the crazy sports stuff. So I think that pretty much does us this week. So we're working on the new Twitch platform. We have not promoted it yet, but we are on Twitch. We're going to start working that angle. We'd like to get you guys over there. I know if we hit certain numbers, they will start featuring us and doing things like that. So we're going to start looking for that. And we're going to start cutting down these podcasts into more dosable, more, easier to swallow doses. We'll shrink things down and expect to see that stuff on the YouTube channel coming soon. But there's been a lot going on here with myself and my personal world. And so some of you guys that know me outside of the shows and the podcasts and the websites and the businesses and all the different things that we do, music and whatever, know that I've been going through a lot of family issues. And it's been a rough few weeks. We still have a couple more weeks ahead of us of things that just aren't that good. We lost the matriarch to the family on Friday. So my mother-in-law passed, and you may have seen the video, and we had some stuff going around trying to get some money together to cover everything. It's kind of a wild story, and I don't know if you guys know it all, but I'll run it down real quick. My mother-in-law and father-in-law married forever, raised their kids, and kids moved on and had their kids, and you know how life works. And so now they're in the advanced stages of life, and Dad's slipping into dementia more and more every day, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And Mom, the very devoted wife, is taking care of her husband and trying to shield all of us from what's really going on and not really telling us and the severity of things. And then she becomes ill and really just ignores it and ignores it and ignores it for quite a long time until she couldn't ignore it anymore. A bacteria infection got into her body and her blood and her brain, and ultimately it killed her this past Friday. So we lost Mom, and Dad is pretty bad with dementia, and we're trying to get him into a facility. So a lot going on, and a lot of people have reached out to me personally. They saw our video that I did that was kind of basically just a cry for help for my in-laws and for that side of my family. And you guys responded like I never, ever expected. I know they have a great support system and people around them, and they stepped up as well as did some of you guys as listeners, friends, and fans. So I do want to take the opportunity to thank all of you guys for everything you did, whether you just sent me an email or a message or a text saying, keep your chin up, I hope everything works out, sending support, love, and care to her family and my family alike. Whether you shared our GoFundMe in the video that I posted, whether you actually donated and helped us out, every bit, from a financial standpoint, every bit of it meant something, and it didn't go unnoticed. And all of you guys, we talk about our heroes every day here in sports, but you guys are my heroes. Nobody in the world of sports can hold up to what you guys did for me in the time when my family needed it the most. So I want to, since I did do that publicly and I did ask for help publicly, I want to take the opportunity to thank you guys here publicly on our forum. Now, I have reached out to people individually on an individual basis for the most part. I think I've got 90%. So the other 10% will be taken care of this weekend as we prepare for our celebration of life and the memorial service. So, and I'll make sure I reach out personally to everybody that I haven't, but I will also be making a much more formal thank you statement. But for everybody that's listening and hanging out with us today, I wanted to thank you guys. The support's been overwhelming, humbling, and absolutely appreciated like nothing else. And that kind of brings me to the closing here. As much as we complain about things and everything's a nightmare and this and that, and we bitch and bitch and bitch, and we complain about whatever, whether it be friends, family, whatever. Just take a deep breath and understand, as bad as things are, they can always get worse. And your job and my job and our job is to try to not make things worse, to make things better the best that we can. And that can be a frustrating thing when it comes to dealing with friends and family and whatever. So when you have those situations, when you are frustrated and you can't be around, take a deep breath, have a woosah moment and put that shit aside. You know, call that cousin you haven't talked to in forever. You know, call your brother that you're angry with and you haven't spoke with for whatever. Call that aunt that you lost touch with. Call that. Do not put off calling your grandparents or sending a card or shooting an email. Make sure that every single minute of every single day you take the opportunities that are given to you and you express how much how important people are to you in real time. Don't wait until later. It just, you know, tomorrow isn't promised. So get out there and say what you got to say, do what you got to do, and love who you got to love, and don't worry about all the rest of that shit. It will come together. There's always a silver lining, light at the end of the tunnel, the whole 9 yards. But it's up to you to foster that positivity. So do that. Reach out to people you haven't in a long time. Make amends with friends and loved ones. Don't let that shit fester. Don't let that shit linger. And don't put that shit off. Because life is fragile and you just never know. You may not get that other chance, that second chance. We talk about it every time here. We sign off with a be good to each other and peace and love and all that happiness. Well, let's all start doing that as a community, and then it can be a real tangible thing. So start with your family, start with your friends, start with the ones that were in your circle. We had somebody that had fallen out with the family who had come back and helped out. Like I said, man, there's only one life to live and it could be gone that quick. So don't miss out. Tell your loved ones exactly how much you care. And we care about you. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Peace out, brothers.
Peace.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.